Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the hidden cost of moving to Nigeria. Yes, that cost that we don't really talk about. It's not the basic, flight, what you call it, rent, buying. I've made videos about all that, but I just want to talk about like our everyday life that we encounter almost every day, but we don't talk about this when we are moving or talking about relocation vlogs. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. First one I have is generator solar repair. Generator can spoil in this country. In fact, when I was looking for a house, one of the things right now, when I was looking to buy this property, I was actively looking for somewhere that says no generator is not allowed. And people did not understand because the agents were like, but people are not really going for service now, because the thing with service apartments is that even if I close my house now for a whole year, I will still be paying the service charge. I say it doesn't matter because I'll still have to repair generator and things like that, especially if you didn't buy that generator brand new, because sometimes there can be light issues in Nigeria, right? Where maybe for 2 weeks now, something will go, like the national grid falls and you don't have light. So that means like for that whole 2 weeks, you're running on that generator, and you know what that means. Woo! So repairs of generator, because if you want to have light, you're going to have generator, except you stay in an estate. Like I said, like in my estate, generator is not allowed. So the estate takes care of it, takes care of the maintenance of the generator to ensure that, you know, it is maintained on time. But for most people who stay on their own, who live in their own houses that is not in an estate, like a standalone or estate that allows generator, this is one thing you need to factor. And that thing is also inverter, because a lot of us now use inverter, solar inverter, things like that. You need to keep like maintaining it, right, so that it doesn't spoil. Yeah, so no one really talks about that cost. Another thing is school and extras, right? So the schools in Nigeria can be expensive. Even the government school, the problem with it is that somehow they always have something to pay for. And that's the part that they don't talk about. If they're not talking about PTA, they're talking about want to take them on excursion. Everyday bills are coming in, and these bills are not cheap, because right now when you're in Nigeria, right, summer holiday now becomes, so they sell all these summer packages to Europe, mostly Europe, right? And it costs a whole lot of money. And sometimes if your kids are in the school, you probably want them to join the holiday package. It's like it can be expensive. Every now and then you think about school fees, but you don't think about school uniform. I mentioned this previously, that like my daughter's uniform is expensive. Yeah, so you have to think about things like that. Think about like they misplaced the uniform, they misplaced, or maybe the uniform gets too tight for them, and then you have to buy another one. So these are things you need to look out for. Books, like in her school, for example, you don't bring books. Like anything for school, it's factored into the school fees. So you pay for that in like another like every new year, every new class. So if you're like in year 8, when you're entering year 9, you need to remember that there is extra money for like all the school stationaries and all. But growing up those days, we used to go to market. Our mothers used to go to market and buy our textbooks by ourselves. Now tell me why these people are giving them assignments inside the textbook. So if you have a child, like, you cannot even transfer the textbook again. I remember like my younger sisters used to use my textbook except their sports, but now they are writing their assignments in the bloody textbooks. Another thing is transport surge. Transportation can be very expensive here because, you know, there's just always surge. If fuel goes up or something like that, they will increase it, you know. So this is something people don't talk about, especially when you live in cities like Lagos. Going about when you're using Uber, even if you're driving, cost of fuel. Before, a car that could fall for 8,000, it's now being for 20,000, because obviously they've removed subsidy. So before, in a Nigerian home, you can see 5 cars parked. One is for the mother, the one is for the father, that one is for school run. People are buying expensive cars, using 8,000 naira to fill up their cars. But now subsidy is gone. So transportation now is expensive. So before people go anywhere, in fact, even when you have workers who come and go, they factor that into it. So when you're hiring workers, you think about it, how far are they factor their transportation before they can say yes to it. If they think about it and decide that no, everything you're paying them is going to be going into transportation, they decline the job. So transportation is something that we don't talk a lot about, and that is especially if you're moving from a place like UK where you can just jump on the train and jump on the bus. We don't really have those services. Yes, Lagos has train, it's not even everywhere, right? Our buses, yeah, something like we need a 360 on those. But so imagine you live in London where you can afford to live in London and not own a car, and you come to Lagos, you come to Abuja, you come to Enugu, where you almost have to have a car or you use Uber. Yeah, another thing they don't talk about is the cost of always like repairing this, because sometimes the roads are really bad. So like buying a fairly used car, buying a Nigerian used car can give you issues because of the bad roads. Yeah, some roads are so bad, like so bad. I saw a lady doing a video. When was it? It's outside Lagos. I've forgotten the state she mentioned. Do you know that this lady had to come out from her car and carry the cake on her hand because the place she's crossing over to go and deliver that cake? Some governors need to do better, and I think it's because we put so much effort in Lagos. So the place she's going to carry that cake, cars can't go there, so the car just stopped that there. That carry the cake will start going. Imagine if that lady falls or something, her job is gone, just like that. Like this is like governors need to do better. Local government chairman, everybody that is just responsible for road. So sometimes this makes you repair your cars often. Car repairs are more often than usual. Right? That's why you can buy a car in Japan, a fairly used car in Japan, and because of the road and everything, it will look like brand new in Nigeria, but a car that's driven like just within Lagos, nothing. So what I also do to help this is that the company I bought my car from, I take it for servicing. I take it there for servicing, because if you use all these roadside, this is another thing you have to know in Nigeria. A lot of people are not qualified for what they do. Someone can just wake up and say he's a mechanic. He'll use your car and be doing trial and error. So you have to be very careful. If not, you will keep repairing. Another thing is health, obviously, like paying off pocket for expensive for hospitals. If you want to go to government hospitals, so you want to go to a private hospital, and paying off pocket can be very expensive. I always tell people to get insurance. Yes, another thing is utility. Utility can be high now. I know a lot of people, I've heard some people that moved back to Nigeria saying things like, Nigeria has bills now. Yes, because right now we operate meter, so it's not before where they'll just bring one bill, estimated bill, and tell you this is what you used. Those days you go and argue with them, they'll now reduce it for you. No, now, like in my estate, everybody has their meter, what you load. If you load 200,000, you will see how you've used it. So if you wake up in the morning, turn on all your appliances from morning to night, the 200 will finish in 2 days. And it goes on and off, right? Because they handle it based on diesel price, and because you're running on both. When you're living in a gated estate like mine, you're running both diesel and light. Your own job is that their job is to give you light. It doesn't matter whether it's generator, it doesn't matter if it's NEPA light, which is EKDC, you're getting light. So as long as you load, so what you load is what you, so they go up and down. The tariff goes up and down depending on the price of diesel. If diesel comes down, they reduce it. If it comes up, they increase it, right? Yeah. And there's some periods where we don't have lights in Nigeria. I don't know if it's rainy season or dry season, one of them, but there is the period when we have more light than others. So that period you're getting NEPA is supplying light, which is EKDC, might be giving you 15 hours a day. And because the estate has promised you 24 hours, they're going to now run generator for the entire time. So yes, utility is not gas. Things come up. You might fill your gas today for 6,000. You're calling the gas person tomorrow. He's telling you that gas is now, to fill it up, is 12,000. So it's something that we don't really talk about a lot in Nigeria. Yes, like utility here and there, and it's not steady. It's not like, okay, my bill is $300. That is what I'm going to pay for this month. No, it can change. The prices change because prices of things come up and down. Another thing I hate to say is how people are constantly trying to outsmart you in this country. Not everybody, sorry, but a lot of people are just on a mission. We call it hustling, but it's outsmarting you. Somebody will go and buy something for you that they want to use and repair something, maybe your bathroom spoils. They'll tell you that thing is 30,000. They'll collect 30,000 and go and look for where to buy it for 2,000, not minding that they are buying the fake one, and they don't even care if that thing can be a danger to you. They don't care. So at the end of the day, you now buy that thing 10 times, keep buying it, right? I know a lady was complaining about her particular AC guy on Instagram, and she did a whole post on how this guy will come and say, oh, it's gas, it's this, it's that. And guess what? She just realized that whenever the guy comes, like, how come this gas is always finishing? She called another gas guy. I realized that he put something, I don't know what he did, right? But when he comes, he'll just empty the gas, and she doesn't know anything about it. So those are expenses that we don't plan for. Why is it that we don't plan for it? Because sometimes you have to now just go the expensive route. That's what I do. Just save. If you want to save yourself the stress, just go and do it. Example, like I said, my car, I just take it straight to the company. Don't give it to your drivers to go and be talking to one mechanic or the other. You're going to pay higher. Don't go and just, because your neighbor is selling generator, you just say, how much is this generator? You go and buy. You want to buy a fairly used car, make sure you're getting a good mechanic to come and approve of that car. Like they've driven it and they'll tell you that, yes, this car is good to go. Because somebody will know that this is the problem with something. They will not put it out there. And this is something we don't talk about. You now end up spending here and there. Another thing is social obligation, right? Nigeria is a communal, like we are communal, so there's always something, wedding, party, there is just always one thing or the other. And somehow, most times, it is last minute for parties. Yes, that's a big culture shock. You notice someone just call you on Friday and say, sis, are you available? My birthday is on Sunday. And the color of the day is red and blah, Barbie and blah. And you're like, you didn't know? They genuinely didn't know. They planned that just in 24 hours. So yes, don't get angry that they're not telling. They genuinely did not want to do the party and they decide to plan it. So there are weddings here. Is that you're buying a shebi to go for the wedding? But again, this one can be controlled, right? Because at the end of the day, it's about setting boundaries. So pick and choose the ones you want to go for. Have a budget for the month. If your wedding budget for the month is over, say, okay, thank you. People will give birth and they will send you their children's picture. And they'll say, Ama, your daughter has come. How did I partake in making of that baby? How is that my daughter? I mean, come on. When they say it, they're not saying it from a nice way. They're saying it from a way of send us something. So yes, just here and there, social obligation, you need to really, really, really set your boundaries. Yeah. Another thing is a lot of household replacements, and that's because in the first place they don't do it well. So if you have the money, call the real people to install it. If you're buying, let's say, a Samsung TV, go to a Samsung store, pay them, they'll come and install it by themselves if you have the funds for that. If not, you're going to, every day something is spoiling, because like I said, a lot of them don't even really know the work. They just do trial and error if they can get it right. So if you can just pay professionals, yes. Another thing that people don't talk about is the turnaround of helps. Because a lot of people say, I can't wait to come back to Nigeria because I need help, I need that. But that's also an amount of money we don't talk about. There's a time I needed the help so bad, I paid 5 different agents, because the agent's job is for you to pay them and they will look for a help for you. I wasn't getting what I wanted from one and I was about to travel. I had to pay 5 of them at the same time. At the end of the day, it was, I think, the first person I now went back to that finally got me somebody that I wanted, right? So no one talks about that expense when it comes to helps. And sometimes they'll go, like in 1 month or 2 months, they'll go. You have to start looking for, the agents are paid yearly, right? But the cost, because you do tests, especially if they're leaving helps, you do all the necessary tests for them. Sometimes, and that's money, right? Yeah, so like in a month, you're testing you like 4 people, you end up testing them, do everything, maybe buy uniform for them, everything or whatever. And the next month, that person is no more working there. So for people that have kids, this is something that you really should have in mind. And the last but not the least is inflation in prices. This is something that people don't talk about. People do not talk about. If you have money, buy things in bulk. Buy things in bulk, you get why. Like, for example, you might go and buy something for 10,000 today and you go back and that thing has doubled. So whenever you have bulk funds, try and do a lot of bulk buying. It will save you money and it will save you time, especially if those things don't expire, that your everyday use. Example, things like my furniture cleaners, I know that don't expire, my floor cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, things like that. I try to buy those things in bulk because, man, the way they increase, especially if you're someone that says, oh, you don't use made in Nigerian products, then things increase. As the tariff increases, importation increases, it does. So first of all, you need to start loving made in Nigeria products, yes, and you need to buy things in bulk. You can, yes. Anyways, this is it though. If you have any other thing, maybe any hidden expense that you feel that I did not talk about. Oh no, wait, there's one I forgot. I just thought about it now, and this is for people returning. I remember because I just watched a creator who left and came back, and she was talking about how people don't talk about how expensive it is to repack things in your house again. And someone was saying, where are the old ones? I'm like, you give it all out. It happens to me every time. If I have to move abroad now for a year, I have to give her like my plates and every other thing. And when you come back, you start buying it again. And I saw this comment that I really like, which is why I remembered it. The guy was like, well, abroad people might not visit, so the tendency of people visiting in Nigeria is more. So abroad we don't care. They said they don't decorate, they don't do anything, they just buy the basic. But in Nigeria, visitors will come, they'll look at you like, hey, why is this person's plate cracked? So you end up spending more. This is something that people don't talk about, just how expensive it can be to put up a home in Nigeria because you're going to be hosting people. Anyways, that's it. And if there's any other thing you remember, or maybe I didn't add, you have experienced it, please put in the comment. If there's something you want me to talk about, again, put it in the comments. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you all for constantly watching, sharing my videos. I do appreciate. Stay blessed.